Hello, my name is Jonathan Hicks, and this is a board game opinions sort of commentary, I suppose, of Hanabi. We play Hanabi quite a lot. In fact, Hanabi is my favourite game of all time, so you're probably going to see quite a bit on the channel. But this is a previous playthrough. We play on a website called Board Game Arena, which is very good. You can play lots of different board games on there, and you can play Hanabi on here. So this is me from a previous game, having played through with a few friends. Now, because their handles, their online handles, might not make a lot of sense in terms of who they are, I'm going to be referring to them by their real names. So you can see the top hand here, which is the perspective we're watching from, is Matt's perspective. Then it's me, then Steve, and then Dave is playing at the bottom there. So we use a convention system called the Dynamo system. And if you're not familiar with that particular system, then effectively I wanted to provide a video that would give you a straightforward overview of how it works. The game we're going to watch through here, and I'm going to talk through what the different conventions mean as we play through the game. This game is fairly straightforward. There isn't a lot of complicated cluing going on, so I'm just going to, well, it should be a good example to see sort of how the system works, if you like. If you're not familiar with advanced Hanabi, which is the sort of kind of Hanabi, I suppose, that we're playing, just appreciate there is a sixth suit. So on the left is where we're going to be trying to play the cards. You've got your familiar red, yellow, green, blue, and white suits. But this purple one on the end represents the multicoloured suit. And you can see in Steve's hand, he has several multicoloured cards here. If you clue colour, when you play the advanced version of Hanabi, then any multicoloured card will get clued as well. So if you clue yellow on Steve's hand, then all the multicoloured cards will appear as yellow, even though they're multicoloured. If you clue blue, all of his cards will appear clued as blue, because obviously he's got the blue one as well. So let's just have a go. As I say, I'm going to explain sort of step by step how we go through it. If you're used to playing Hanabi though, and you just aren't familiar with our particular convention, as I say, I will explain how the Dynamo convention works. So let's kick off the video and we'll see what happens. I'll pause it at appropriate points and we'll go from there. So it's Matt to start. He's looking around. Obviously you want to clue ones at the beginning. Steve's hand is a bit tricky because he has a repeated one. In fact, my hand's tricky as well because I've also got a repeated one. Dave at the bottom has a single one, so let's see what he's going to clue. Just appreciate when you clue ones, there we go, on he's clued Steve's hand. The convention is in our system, we play ones from right to left. Ordinarily, you play all of your cards left to right, from newest to oldest. In fact, I should perhaps just pause this here to make this clear. On Board Game Arena, whenever you discard a card, your cards shuffle across to the right for everybody. So all the cards on the left become the newest cards, and the cards on the right are the oldest cards. Now, normally you always play cards newest to oldest. However, for ones in our system, you play them right to left. So actually, Steve should be, when it comes down to his turn, playing this multicoloured one on the end. However, it's my turn. What am I going to do? Well, I've clued the one at the bottom here because obviously I can see it's a different colour from all the one in Steve's hand. Steve plays his rightmost one and draws a new card. Dave plays his one, and it's back to Matt's turn. Now, in our system, the big difference, I'm just pausing it here again, is that if you clue multiple cards, then in our system, you carry on playing all of those cards. Now, in some systems, they will do this for one. We do this for everything. It doesn't matter if you clue colour or number, you play every card that's being clued. How do you stop someone from playing cards you don't want them to play? I'll come on to that as it happens. So it's Matt's turn. And you can see we've got the red one and the white one in my hand, which is different from the ones in Steve's hand. So you might clue mine. There we go, he's clued mine. Again, I'm playing right to left, so I should be playing the white one first. I should mention that although we play at quite an advanced level, we are not by any means immune from making mistakes, and we do make plenty of mistakes. So I will highlight any mistakes when we make them. Yeah, so I played the white one, Steve played the blue one. It's Dave's turn. Now, we've got a problem here because, Matt has been clued with all the ones. Now, just to talk this through, we don't want Steve to play his one anymore. However, he can see there's only 2 ones left. He can also see that I've been clued on 2 ones. And that's one of the missing ones. So the fact that Dave has clued Matt at the top here, Steve now knows that his one is not playable. So there's no way Steve's going to play his one, so we don't need to worry about that one. However, Matt does have 3 of them and should be playing the one from the right. And then I should play my one, again from the right. Okay, so that was an error. And you can see, yeah, that was actually Dave's fault. Okay, Dave clued him, and his most recent, or the rightmost one, because remember we played ones from right to left, has already been played. So we got a misfire. You can see the sort of explosion firework here. That was just Dave's fault. Okay, so he forgot that we played the ones from right to left. Sometimes you make daft mistakes like that. Nevertheless, we'll carry on. So I will be playing, hopefully, the red one in my rightmost slot. Now I can actually see Matt's hand, although it's hidden from us, the viewers. Matt, I imagine, will just carry on playing. This is tricky because it's a mistake, so we don't know, should he carry on playing his rightmost one or should he switch, thinking Dave wanted him to play the leftmost one. We'll see what happens. Steve, though, knows that he definitely doesn't want to be playing his one. He can see what Matt's one is, and he's discarded his one, which gives us a clue back. That's great. Now it's Dave's turn. Can he redeem himself? It might not matter. I mean, it might be that the two ones in Matt's hand are the same colour, in which case Dave will probably do something else. But if it's not clear, he may need to give Matt another clue, which would be a terrible waste of clues. But we'll see. We'll see what he does. If he doesn't do that, obviously we've got lots of twos to be played. So Dave will be looking around at twos. Okay, he's just discarded. Now, there are twos to be played here. Again, let me just pause this. You can see on my chop, the chop is the card furthest to the right. Well, actually, technically, in our system, the chop is the card you're going to discard next. Okay, so my chop is actually the red one because that's the card I'm going to be discarding next. But after that, it becomes the two. So we kind of want to get that played. You can also see there's a multicolour two here, which needs to get played. So he's waiting, though, to see what other people are going to clue, effectively. We'll come on and see how this plays out. But he's discarded to give us another clue, and we're going to see what Matt does. Matt's probably panicking slightly at this stage. Does he play the right one or the left one? Whichever way one he plays, though, the other one he knows is a safe discard after that, so that is helpful. And he got the right one. Okay. I imagine they were both the same colour, which is why Dave didn't clue. So it's my turn. Now, again, I can't see the two in my chop. Oh, sorry, on my rightmost card here. I can see the two in Steve's chop and the two on Dave's chop both need playing. I don't realise the one I'm holding is the same colour as Dave's, though, obviously. Now, I seem to remember in this game that I chose to discard at this point rather than clue. Now, you might wonder why that is, but remember, I can see also what's in Matt's hand, and I was essentially wanting to force Steve and Dave to clue. I don't want to clue the two here for whatever reason. I wanted to make sure that Steve clued and then Dave clued, I think. We'll see how it plays out. But when there are clues to be made, generally people are going to make them. So if you don't want them discarding, yeah, okay. So he clued Dave. Dave could play or discard. I mean, he should play, really. It depends what Matt's got in his hand. We'll see what he does. But I didn't want to clue Steve and have him play, and then Dave potentially discard that one if there were no other playable cards, because I couldn't see my own hand, remember. So Dave is not sure. He's obviously thinking about something. Does he play? He knows it's a playable two. I should say, in our system, if you clue number on the chop, so the card that's going to get discarded next, if you clue number on that, it means save. Pretty much everywhere else, clue means play. Okay, and that's gone quite quickly. Let me just pause that. But because there were no twos that need saving, you can see the discards off to the left here. We didn't need to save any discards. And anyway, all the twos are playable. So he knew it was actually a play clue, not a save clue. So it came to Matt. Matt clued Steve on his two. So now it's back to my turn. So I know that Steve's going to be playing that too, because again, that's definitely not a save clue. It's a play clue. So I'm looking around. Is there anything else that can be played? Well, in Steve's hand and Dave's hand, there isn't. So I'm probably looking at Matt's hand. I might be discarding if I can't see anything playable in Matt's hand, but that's fine. And Dave will have factored that into account. He knows that potentially if I discard, I'm discarding the two. In fact, Dave wouldn't have taken it into account, but Matt would have when he gave the clue. You can see the two's already gone. We don't need that one. So what am I doing? I'm thinking. Matt's obviously got a safe discard in the 1. So if he had a dodgy card like a 5 furthest to the right, it's not in immediate danger. So I wouldn't need to worry about that. Okay, I've clued the 2. There's probably going to be a reason why I've taken so long, but again, that should be a playable 2. So Steve plays his 2, that's fine, and draws something not very helpful. Dave can see a playable card in my hand. Okay, now this is quite important here. He's clued all of my 3s. Okay, now in our system, the Dynamo system, you carry on playing. You play most recent card first, so I'm going to start off by playing the white 3, then I will play the multicolour 3, and then I will play the green 3. I will just keep playing unless I'm told to stop. But obviously there's a slight problem at the moment because the white 3 is not playable. However, Matt has a 2, so Matt's looking at going, oh, this 2 must be the white 2, otherwise Dave wouldn't have clued me on my 3s. So Matt hopefully will play. And then the big advantage of the system is you don't need to keep cluing me to play the rest of the 3s. I'll just keep playing them. Now you might wonder, well, hang on, what if some of them weren't playable or something like that? Well, they would have given a different clue. Okay, so you clue in that kind of situation when it makes sense to play them all. Now Steve just discarded, he couldn't see anything else playable. Dave has a safe discard, so there's no need for him necessarily to save. Oh, but notice Steve has just picked up a 2 in a most recent position. Okay, so there's an opportunity for a finesse here. Unfortunately, Dave has the card that would be finessed in his most recent spot. It's at 3. So technically, Dave shouldn't clue the 2. We always wait to try and give opportunity for a finesse, and he did it exactly right there. Let me just pause that. He discarded because if he was holding the 3, the next card, then Matt could clue and finesse him. And that's exactly what he did. So Dave discarded, Matt has just given a clue, red. Now again, notice in our system, if he clues red, that means you carry on playing all the cards that are clued. So because the red 3 here can't be played, everyone looks around and thinks, well, hang on, Matt's given a clue saying he can't be, telling him to play this card, but it can't be played. And Steve is the only one who can't see the red 2. So we all know, that's because Steve has the red 2 and should be playing that one. But Steve looks at that and says, well, hang on, when it gets around to Dave's turn, he's going to play the 3 and we're going to fail, like you're going to lose a line. So I must have the red 2, and it's always in the most recent position. So whenever you finesse, it should be in the most recent position. Actually, there is an exception to that. We'll come back to that if it happens. But essentially, this is how a finesse works. So Matt clues Dave on red, which gets Steve to play his most recent card. So again, I'm just going to carry on playing. Yeah, you can just leave me to it. I've been clued on 3s. I'll just keep playing. Steve plays the 2 because he knows it's been a finesse. Dave will play the 3. And when it gets back to Dave's turn, he will play the 4. In the Dynamo system, you just keep playing. So it's back to Matt. He knows I'm going to play that 3 when it gets onto me, so he doesn't need to worry about me. So he's looking around for other cards that could be played. We don't need to worry about the red 4 on Steve's chop because Dave's going to play it. So if Steve discards that, that's fine. He clues white to Steve because Steve can play the white 4. Another important thing in our system is we try not to give too much information away. Now, it sounds a bit crazy, but in some systems, they might clue more than one card at once because then you have knowledge on other cards, but we don't play that way. We try and give the information only on the playable cards, and you don't worry about anything else. So there we go. Dave has played that red 4. So with one clue, Matt managed to get Steve to play the red 2, Dave to play the red 3, and Dave to play the red 4. So the Dynamo system is incredibly efficient. Of all the different systems I've come across, it is by far the most efficient system I've ever seen. So Matt is going to clue, you can see there's a finesse lining up here. He clues, let me just pause it here. He's clued Dave on his yellow 3. That is not playable yet because the next card should be the yellow 2, which means someone else has got the yellow 2 in the most recent spot, and I can't see it yet in any of the other hands. So I know I must have it, and so I'll be playing the yellow 2. So again, with the one clue here from Matt, we're getting 2 cards played. The yellow 2, and when it gets round to Dave's turn, the yellow 3. Now, unless Steve has another clue to make, he's going to be discarding. Okay, now this, you've got to be a little bit careful about doing this, but he's clued Dave on blue. But Dave already knows what this card is, yep? he was clued yellow, and I played the yellow 2, which tells him it must be the yellow 3. So he's not going to play the blue 3. But everyone else is looking at this blue 3 and going, hang on, the blue 3 is not playable. We need the blue 2 next. And again, looking at my hand, you can see I'd just drawn the blue 2, so Steve was finessing my 2. So Dave will play the yellow 3 now, because that was the first card he was clued on. Matt will do something, and then I will play the blue 2, and then when it comes back to Dave, he'll play the blue 3. So Matt's hovering over his 1, so he's probably going to discard if he can't see anything else to play. I mean, the multicolour 4 can be played, but he doesn't really want to mess with my hand at the moment because I'll be playing the blue 2, and we've only got 1 clue left, yeah? So the clues are here. So if he discards, it gets us an extra clue back. We don't really want to run out of clues. So I should be playing the blue 2. I was finessed. Steve has a safe discard, so he could discard, but Dave will be playing the blue 3. I've got 2 playable 4s in my hand though. So notice again, this is why it was quite a good idea for Matt to wait and not clue there. Because if Steve clues 4 on my hand, I will play both of them. Again, just with the 1 clue. He's obviously thinking though, there's some other issues at play. Okay, so he's clued green to Matt. Now that should just be a straightforward play clue. We'll see what happens from that. But Dave's choice is fairly straightforward. He should just be playing his blue 3. Whenever you're clued, in theory, particularly when it's colour, you should look around for a possible finesse. So when Matt gets clued, he's thinking to himself, should I be playing this green card, or is there a finesse? Well, the next green card is the green 4, and actually, I've got the green 4 in my most recent slot, so it should be a finesse. However, Dave, for whatever reason, I think wanted to be sure about that. Let me just pause this and make it clear. So we can't see it, but the fact that I've got the 4 in the most recent spot means that this should be the green 5. Even before Dave clues it, Matt should not be playing that card. Now this is a reverse finesse because the card we need to play next is actually after the person you're cluing. Yeah. So Matt has to look around and go, well, the green 4 is the next one, so I shouldn't play my green card. I should wait until Jonathan, i.e. me, has played the green 4, and then Matt can come back and play the green 5. Dave, though, has also clued this 5. Now, remember, number on the chop means save. So although Matt already knew he was going to be playing this green card after I've played my green 4, because of the reverse finesse, Dave might be wanting to save this green 5. That might be a 5 that's not playable, like it might be the yellow 5, for example. Anyway, we'll see what happens to Matt. Matt should be playing his... Sorry, no, he won't be playing the green 5. Yeah, okay, I think I see what Dave was thinking here. The problem is if Matt doesn't play the green 5, which he shouldn't do, then he'd have to discard. And if he discarded the previous card, that would be a 5 and we'd lose it. So Dave clued that 5 to tell him to save it. Number on the chop means save. And Matt then discarded his previous card, the most recent card, and then I played the green 4. Now Matt, when it comes back to him, will know that he can play the green 5. And that for the moment he should save the other 5. Now he's also looking around to see what that 5 that is. All right, he's just clued me on the 4. That's a straightforward play clue, so you can see the multicolour 4 is the next one to be played. Sorry, it was Steve who clued that. Dave then played that 3 from the previous hand that he didn't play because he had to save the 5. Matt plays his green 5, comes back to me. I should be playing my multicolour 4. All right, let's just pause here. So just appreciate, Matt is trying to work out what 5 could that be that isn't playable yet. So he knows it's not the red 5, and he knows it's not the green 5 because that's already gone. And I think the white 5 was playable. So he's kind of looking which 5s could it be next. So looking at the hands here, what cards do we need? Well, we need the white 5, the multicolour 5, which I've got in my hand now. The 4s are more important though, so the yellow 4 and the blue 4 are the most important cards. You see we've got both blue 4s out here. So it's Steve's go. We can't see his own blue 4, so he's looking at Dave's blue 4. He could just clue it. The slight issue with this is if he clues blue, Dave will play the 3 first. If he clues 4, Dave will play the blue 4, but then when it comes back to him, he's going to play the green 4 as well, so we'd have to stop him from playing with another clue. That's typically how you do it. If you want to stop someone from playing, you give them another clue. Well, you might be thinking, if you're used to other systems, that that's a waste of clues. Well, our system is so incredibly clue efficient, that's not an issue. The other thing, though, is what if there isn't a clue that you can give? There is always a clue you can give. Sometimes you need to think quite carefully, but generally there's always a clue. All right, so Steve actually gave a clue of 5 to Matt here, and Dave just discarded. Now, the advantage of that is that now when we clue 4 to Dave, we don't have to clue him again to stop him from playing. So you can just let them discard the card off the end and then clue. So that's quite nice. Again, the clue to Matt, though, should be a save clue. Yep, there are 5s that can't be played, the yellow 5 and the blue 5. So Matt's 5 here is on the chop. That should be a save clue. He clues my 5. My 5 is not on the chop, so that means play. So I should be playing the multicolour 5. Matt's obviously hovering over the green card on the end and wondering, what is that? Well, he now knows, because it could have been a multicolour card is the thing, but he now knows it's not a multicolour card that we need, and we don't need a green card yet, because when I play the multicolour 5, that fills at the 5 suit. So that green card he knows on the end is now safe discard, so that becomes his chop. He will no longer discard any more recent cards, he will discard the green card next if he needs to discard. Although he is trying to figure out if he can play anything. So Steve has just clued Dave on the blue 4, that's great, so he'll play that, and then we don't need to stop him playing anything else. It comes back to Matt, and the only issue is the yellow 5. So he's trying to work out, could that 5 in the most recent 5 be the yellow 5? Now, he's figured out it's not the yellow 5. I must admit, I'm not entirely sure myself. He was obviously paying more attention to his own hand. I think based on what he worked out his other 5 could be, he knows that other one was playable. Because the only 5 that isn't playable is the yellow one, obviously. As long as it's not yellow, he knew he could play it. Right, Matt was given a clue of 4. That is going to be the yellow 4. Everyone else seems to be just discarding. We're just trying to get through to the 5s now. So he plays the yellow 4, and now we're home free, really. Every 5 is playable. We're going to get plenty of clues, because every time you play a 5, you get a clue back anyway. And we're discarding cards till we get to the 5s, which gets us lots of clues back. So this should be very straightforward now. We'll just keep discarding. Every time a 5 pops up, like in Steve's hand, we clue it. Matt will play that one now, because he knows it's definitely playable. And that was the yellow one, after all. Yeah, so we discard. Steve plays his 5. And there is the last 5. Just realize, because there are 6 suits in this version of Hanabi, the maximum score you can get is 30 points, not 25 in the base Hanabi. So yeah, it comes back, and we super clue Steve's 5, just to make sure he doesn't get anything wrong there. He plays the 5, and we win. Which should give us 30 points. Dun, 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 dun. All right, great. So hopefully that gives you a good idea of how the system works. Essentially, the big difference between this and all the other systems is when someone's given a clue, like when I was playing those 3s, you just keep playing them. You play all the 3s until you're stopped by giving a different clue. Now, you can either be clued something else that you could play, or if there's nothing else you could play, you could be given a save clue, like a 5 clue will often stop someone playing, because you're just telling them, you know, often it's clear when 5s can't be played, so that just means to stop. And then you've got the 5 information for later. Sometimes, if all the 1s have already been played, you could just clue 1. You're giving people a bunch of save discards, as well as telling them to stop playing. So there's various ways around it. But that's just the basics. As I say, it was a very straightforward game, but hopefully, as I say, it illustrates how our system works. All right, thanks very much for watching. I'll see you next time.